Evening, everyone.
Good evening, Warren.
As you come in, let us know where you're streaming from.
Let us know where you're streaming from.
Yep. It's been an interesting week.
Oh my gosh.
It's been busy.
Yes.
But a good thing, like not busy.
I went by
productive.
The footers are poured.
Yeah. What's that plastic stuff that's a liner before they do something?
No, they put it underneath the cement.
Oh.
I walked on the stage today.
Where the stage is gonna be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really excited about this. Come on in. Let's know where you're streaming from. Come on in.
Yeah. That's exciting.
Really exciting.
Yeah.
We are supposed to collide today about setting up.
As a contractor.
Yeah, about to set another building across the street. So he's gonna do some due diligence. So get back on me.
Awesome.
Hey, Dorothy.
Hello.
That's my friend right there. My brother Ja.
Yeah, we have a really awesome topic tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So we would love it for you all to share.
Yep. Charmaine has mastered this topic.
Really?
Mm-hmm. No way.
Oh, you're trying to be funny? You saying I need to work on it?
No, we're all in construction. None of us are perfect.
I would receive it if you told me that.
No, we're all good. Okay, we're gonna jump in.
What's your name?
My name is Jomo.
I'm Charmaine.
We come together on Friday night with real, raw, and relevant conversations dealing with relationships. Tonight's topic is how to apologize to your partner.
Yes.
Now, if you have anybody in your life at any time, you're going to have to apologize because we often say the wrong things. We often miscommunicate. We also often misinterpret or misunderstand.
Or we just mess up and we do the wrong thing.
Correct. So apologizing is going to be something that we will have to become proficient at. Mm-hmm. Because as long as there are people, there are problems.
That's right. And no one's perfect. So you're going to have to learn how to apologize gracefully.
I was listening to Rick Warren. He was a very popular guy from Purpose Driven Life and Saddleback Church.
Yes.
And he made an incredible statement to me that I loved what he said. He says he believes lawyers created the word irreconcilable differences. And he's saying because the reality is, as long as there's two people
that are different,
there are going to be irreconcilable differences. So it's a cop-out.
It is.
Bottom line is,
you don't want to be married.
You don't want to be married no more. Because I don't care who you get with, who you be with, who you want to stay with. You gonna have disagreements.
Right.
Disagreements are normal.
Right.
So if that is...
It's so important to know, even when you feel like you were right, if you hurt someone in the process of you trying to be right, you're not righteous.
It's still wrong.
You're still wrong. So you may feel like you won the argument, but you lost the war.
You just lost one.
Because if your partner is hurting, then some things are going to be affected in your relationship as a result of that.
You're gonna pay
for it. Sometimes we get into disagreements and we may go a little bit too far, or we may make a mistake and do something wrong. And the thing is we need to know how to apologize properly, right? Because some people just don't know how to apologize.
Some just don't have the ability the humility.
That's good.
To say I am wrong
and not be prideful.
Pride is the one that stops the apology.
Right.
The Bible says where there is no pride, there is no strife. Wherever there's pride, there's strife or drama.
Right.
So where there is no pride, there is no strife.
Right. I love that. Okay, so we have some steps for your apology. How to apologize. Step 1, acknowledge your partner's hurt/anger. Acknowledge it.
Okay. Whether you believe it or not, whether you think they're right or wrong, you still have to acknowledge their feelings because their feelings are real to them.
Right.
Whether they're real to you is irrelevant.
Right.
The bottom line is they're real to them. And though you may not agree with their feelings are real for them.
Right. So what you want to do, for example, is I'm sorry, I apologize, I see that I hurt your feelings, or I acknowledge that I did something wrong that hurt you, and I apologize. That's step one.
Acknowledgement.
Right. Step two, apologize for what you said or did. So I acknowledge the fact that I did something wrong, and then you say what that issue is.
When you cussed at me,
right,
you did something wrong, or when you were late, or whatever it is.
Apologizing, you say, I recognize that I cussed at you and it caused you to be hurt or caused you to hurt. And
correct.
I'm sorry for that. Now,
here's a key point. If you are in the process of identifying what you may have said or done wrong, never have a conjunction of but. Is but a conjunction? I don't know if it's the right word. The gist of it is, you should not.
It's a transition word.
Yes. You should not acknowledge what you did wrong and then say, but
if you wouldn't have done X, Y, Z, then I wouldn't have cussed you out.
See, but negates everything you said before the but.
That's right.
So we have to make sure, just let it be where it is. I apologize for doing this.
I mean, just think about it. Think about when you say the word but. Would you say to your child, you are so pretty, baby, but that mole on your face needed more?
Listen, baby, you have beautiful teeth. But that one right there,
you wouldn't say, you're really smart, but.
Correct.
So you shouldn't do it to your spouse.
Correct.
You apologize, you acknowledge, and sometimes you make them feel like you're falling on a sword.
No, you are. It's funny.
No, because if you feel like you're right.
No, listen to me. It's funny. As a pastor, I often apologize for things I have nothing to do with.
Because you're the leader.
I'm the leader.
Yes.
And so sometimes when I'm mentoring younger ministers, I said, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Fall down, take the bullet.
Right.
The bus will be slow. It'll roll over you. Throw yourself. Because oftentimes there's a lot of things that happen that you don't really know about or don't have control about, but you have to just fall back.
Right.
And let it be.
I think when a man apologizes and him being head of household is quick to apologize, it sets the atmosphere for the entire house to follow.
Amen.
And it's something really special when you see your head of household, someone that's leading your family, to say, you know what, guys, I messed up. I shouldn't have done it that way. I apologize.
That's spiritual maturity too.
Yes, absolutely.
Number three. Give a brief description of your motives. Basically,
so they can kind of see what you were thinking or what your thoughts were when you did it.
Correct.
Your thought, your intention may have been really good. It just may not have worked out.
Correct. Basically, you're giving the spouse or partner the background or the backdrop on why you did what you did.
Right.
I thought about today. I left the church pretty quickly. I said, baby, I had to go. Now, I didn't explain to her the whole thing, but I just knew I had to get to a certain spot, that she was on the phone with a friend. It was a good conversation. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to cut her now because, it was a good conversation. So I said, you know what? I got to run. And in hindsight, I could have been, but I didn't have the time to kind of explain.
I'm so glad you're acknowledging that.
No, I was trying to get you. I was like, hey, but you were in a good conversation. I didn't know how to, and I knew at the same time there was a deadline. I had to be at a certain spot. And I don't have to I didn't have to be there. I wanted to be there, trying to.
Well, I didn't know why you had left, and I was there by myself at the building, and that's always not the best. So I was just like, wonder where you had to go. But yeah. Okay, cool. So that was a good example.
See how miscommunication could happen?
That wasn't a miscommunication. No communication.
Well, I couldn't talk to you because you're on the phone. I thought the phone conversation would be quicker, but it just kept going. So I was like, I didn't know how.
That's all good.
See, that's how it happens, just like that.
What?
Miscommunication. And that's why, I'm saying, I'm just making an example how, my thought was.
But you know what? If we're analyzing that, I didn't react or respond to it until I found out why he left. Because I could have went off and been mad and not knowing that he actually had something to do for another business. So I didn't respond. And I'm glad I didn't, because it was legit. I'm glad he left.
Communication.
Yeah.
It's an imperfect art.
Right.
So by acknowledging and then elaborating on why you did what you did, it helps a person understand your perspective, because it's two sides.
And they may have grace, more grace, once they figure out what your thought process was, versus you just saying, I'm sorry. Correct. And then they're like, it still leaves them wondering or thinking, the worst, because they could have been like, oh, well, he didn't even think about me, or he can't possibly love me if he did this. Yeah. So, but then it could have been the total opposite. Well, I love you and I was thinking about this. It's another aspect of it. It's another perspective that you may not have seen. And then once they explain themselves, you're like, you know what? I understand.
The Bible speaks about this. It says people often sound right until you hear the other side. Yeah. So you have to be careful about. I forgot the exact verse. It says one side sounds really good until you hear the counter argument, and then you understand. So we have to be mindful in the process of apologizing to hear a person out. They may make sense to you, even though they offended you and they were wrong. It may make sense if you allow them to elaborate and explain what they were thinking when it happened. Number 4, apologize again. Reiterate. Listen, babe, I know I miscommunicated. I know it didn't work out the way we thought. I said, but I want you to know sincerely that I apologize.
I think the last step should be you having an action plan as to how this how this won't happen again. Yeah. So, whether it be a miscommunication, or maybe you made a mistake, or maybe you told a joke at a party and it hurt the person's feelings. That's a rough one. Like, how do we navigate through this now that this has happened so this won't happen again? Like, what is our action steps? Correct. So I think that's really good, because then you're really showing the person that you care enough to try
have
to
a strategy
out,
for how we don't repeat the cycle.
Exactly.
And that's why it's so key that we conversate, we talk about it, and do a autopsy on it, and really reiterate, how did we get here? What did we do? What did I miss? Because ultimately the goal is for us to build a bridge and not burn the bridge. Right.
You know what? I want to just touch on this a little bit. I don't even know if you guys have thought about this, but some spouses don't, they kind of shut down. They apologize, but they shut down because the person receiving the apology has beat them up so much in the past that they cringe just to apologize.
When you say beat up.
Beat up verbally. I'm sorry. Yep. I'm not meaning physically. But if you're the type of person that, thanks, babe. If you're the type of person that doesn't receive an apology well, and you keep repeating, they're saying, I'm sorry, that wasn't my intention. I didn't mean to hurt you. I love you. But you did this. But why would you do that? But then, it's like, okay, the person has apologized. They try to explain themselves. And in the past, they've done it, and you beat them up for days and days and days. It's like, verbally. Then it's like the next time something happens, they wind up apologizing and shutting down. So if you have recognized that in your partner or your spouse, then you should definitely, before something else happens, talk about that. In the past, when you've come to me, to explain something that may have happened or went wrong or been said wrong or whatever, I've done this, and I apologize for that, for receiving it in a bad way. I want to receive your information. I want you to feel safe coming to me with information, regardless of whether it's bad or good, because we're in this for the long haul. So we have some steps on how to receive an apology. Real quick. Number 1.
Listen.
Yeah.
It's hard to receive if you don't listen, and you miss stuff. Number 2, receive
the apology.
Correct.
I mean, because at the end of the day, You holding on to a grudge, it can make you bitter. It can block your blessings. It can block your prayers. God doesn't want you to hold on to grudges. So I definitely, I would say pray about it, because, we're being very general with the apology, but if it's something that really broke trust in your relationship, it may take some time. So this may be like not just oh, I apologize, I'm sorry, let's move on, let's kiss and make up. We ain't kissing and making up on certain things right away. Certain things we need to go to God and pray about and really come up with some steps on how to heal and how to
traumatic.
Exactly. And how to rebuild trust again.
Correct.
So, but try to receive it in your heart and ask God to release you from any hurt or bitterness, because you can only grow from that way. You can only heal that way. Okay. Number 3, believe. Believe that they're being sincere.
And you will never know for sure, but you just have to believe it.
Right. And be positive. Err on the side of caution. Just be positive and believe the person loves you and that they wouldn't intentionally try to deliberately hurt you for any reason. And number
4, accept it.
Acceptance.
You have to accept the apology, and some people don't, but you can't control that.
Right.
But if you want to get healed, you have to accept it and trust God.
Trust God. Trust God in the process.
Well, family, we love you.
Remember, love, laugh, and learn.
God bless you. Have
Good
a wonderful
night.
night. Bye-bye. Bye.